We're here now for a bit of a follow-up video to the last one. I think I'm gonna put quite a few videos in this series as I think of things, but this is so the last video was how angling works, and I think that is the most important skill to learn. That's the number one thing you need to know about armored warfare. But shot placement, when you see the tank from front on without angling, which will happen, and from the profile, so this is a front on view and this is a profile view. These are the same tank for all intents and purposes. Okay? I guess it's a Tiger, but we're just going to use it to represent generic tank. So here's the turret, here's the gun, here's the hatch. This is a little machine gun port. You've got another machine gun port here. Up here you just have something sticking out. We're going to talk about that. And here are the tracks. Now, say you see a tank driving in profile in front of you from the side like this. Where do we want to aim? Well, there's no easy, there is and there isn't an easy answer to this. So what I'm going to do is kind of explain the different parts of the tank, and then that can help you at least make a more informed decision about what part of the tank to fire at. So here in the back of the tank, we have, what color do I want to make that? We'll make it purple. We have the engine, right? And then running along the bottom of the tank here, above the tracks, this is going to be all basically transferring energy through the tank. That's going to be like the drive shaft, okay? And usually, this isn't 100% of the time, but usually the transmission is up here in the front. All right, and all of this energy is going down to the tracks. That's what we need to take away from this. So if you aim here, make sure I got the right thing selected here, at the rear of the tank, you're going to hit the engine. Now remember, the side armor is very thin, so 90% of the time that's going to penetrate. You're going to hit the engine. What will that do? It will probably start a fire, which can be extinguished, and it will probably, well, it will stop the tank, okay? So if a fire starts, you'll see flames shooting out from up here, and the crew's going to have to extinguish the fire. While the crew is extinguishing the fire, they can't do anything else. So that means firing, reloading, all of that stops as they extinguish the fire. So hitting here does, first of all, it takes the crew out of action while they extinguish the fire for a few seconds. And secondly, it will stop the tank. This tank will not run again until the engine is repaired. If the tank is at a side profile like this to you, that's really good. You want to stop him there, because that gives you time to come through with a follow-up shot. So right here, let's choose a different color. So right here, you're going to have your radio operator and your driver. They'll be sitting like that, next to each other. So on the front, your radio operator will be here, your driver will be here, okay? So they're sitting right next to each other. So a shot here will take them out. Probably both of them. At least one, but probably both. So what will happen if you hit there? Well, the driver will be knocked out, hopefully. If you just get the radio operator, you've effectively done nothing. The tank is still very combat effective. He's going to turn around and he's going to shoot at you. If you get the driver, you've stopped the tank. But that's not a sure thing. Because you might not get the driver, you might only get the radio operator. So as far as those two shots goes, I usually go with the engine shot. Is the engine shot always the best shot? I'm gonna say it depends, but usually yes. Up here we've got a commander. Whoops. Let's make a nice circle. We've got the commander. I'll just draw the heads. And the loader and the gunner. They're all right next to each other up here. You can put a shot into the turret. Putting a shot into the turret will probably take all three of them out. But it might not. It might only hit one. It might just punch. You might hit up here, and it might just punch through. You might hit here. If you hit here, you'll take out the, see back in here, whoops, back in here, this is the gun's loading mechanism. You could take that out. But none of those are guaranteed to stop the tank. Because when we have a good profile shot like this, what we want to do is stop the tank. Why? So that we can shoot again. Okay? So let's say we shoot the engine. Boom, engine's up in smoke. They have to extinguish the fire. They then have to determine, while the fire is being extinguished, where that shot came from. They have to turn the turret. They have to decide, do we fix the engine and try to get out of there? Because they know you're going to shoot again. Or do we turn the turret and try to get a second shot off? So it puts, so let's say, for example, you hit the engine and it explodes. It's on fire. They're working on that. Your next shot is about 10 seconds before it's up. They have to make all those decisions inside of 10 seconds. And say it takes them at least 5 seconds to get the flames out and turn and engage you. That gives you time to plan where you want to put your next shot. If the turret doesn't turn, if the turret stays on profile like this, okay, put a shot on the side of the turret, right where that X is, right in the center of the turret. If the turret turns towards you, you have a decision to make. The front of a turret is relatively difficult to penetrate. There are weak points. We talked about them in the last video. But generally speaking, the front of the turret is quite hard to penetrate. So I might put my second shot, usually will put my second shot, if the turret has turned, right here. Well, what's there? What we have there, let me find a different color. Oops. And again, this doesn't go for all the tanks, but usually that's where ammunition is stored. You're going to hit the ammo stores, and this tank will go up like an M80. Boom! The turret could blow clean off of it. Probably. It's not a guarantee. But either way, you're going to do a lot of damage. We talked about spalling in the last video. If you hit here, you're going to get spalling. Radiating out. Like this. Right? The spalling could hit the crew in the turret. It could hit the driver. Okay, so what I do, if I see a tank on profile, first shot here, second shot here. Unless the turret stays in profile like that, then I'll probably put the second shot here. And then the third shot's going here. Alright? 1, 2, So this one stops the tank. This one, we ensure that they're not going to be getting a shot back at us. Because if you put a shot in here, you'll take out at least half the crew. Right? And my third shot will be here. If this turret starts to turn towards me, my second shot's going here. And my third shot's probably going here too. And I'm just going to keep pumping shots here until I see a fireball. Alright? So, and again, another reason you want to make sure you hit the engine with the first shot is because if you put a shot here and damage the tank and you don't take it out, or if you put a shot here, what that commander is going to do if he's any good is not stop and try to fight you. He's going to try to get his tank behind cover. He's going to drive behind a building or something and you're going to lose it. And he's going to sit back there and repair, and he's going to know where you are, and he's going to be really pissed off. So engine first, stop the tank. What happens after that depends on the situation. Alright? From the front, we touched on this in the last video, so I don't have too much to say here, except on the hull. We're going to talk about the transmission. So as we know, the transmission is going to be something like that. This will stop the tank. Hitting the transmission will stop the tank, and it's usually easy to penetrate down there. Alright? Other weak points on the front, again, the turret. The cheeks of the turret are usually a weak spot. It depends on the tank. Usually the gun, always a weak spot but hard to hit. The hatch, always a weak spot but hard to hit. Other weak spots on the front, the machine gun port can be a weak spot. On some tanks it's actually stronger. So that's a little bit of trial and error, or just pure memorization. If there's a driver hatch, you can aim for the driver hatch. Not a hatch, that's a viewport. Driver viewport. Aim for the viewport, boom, shoot the driver in the face. Alright? But, generally speaking, we don't want to ever be engaging a tank from the front like this, because it doesn't give us any advantage. The whole point of this is to tell you where to shoot if you have to shoot from the front. But what you want to do is get yourself into a situation where you're shooting at the tank on profile like that. Alright? Maneuver is important. So that's it for this video. When I think of something else, I'll post it.